It takes a powerful and great mindset for someone to become a successful entrepreneur. Many people say it is hard to become successful as a great entrepreneur. Some say successful entrepreneurs, they are born to be entrepreneurs. Many people start businesses and they fail. Maybe they lack knowledge or skills or some advice. This and more is what we are here to discuss about. My name is Joseph from Banyo, your host. Our guest of today is a founder and executive director of Green Shiro Limited and Girl Potential Care Center.
My name is Kaligira Bridget Chigambo Empakoyanga Woli Ndumsita Kati, an architecture engineer by training. I'm a founder of Green Shiro Limited. I'm a social entrepreneur with Girl Potential Care Center. I'm a climate activist.
Let's start from the beginning. What sparked your journey to venture in entrepreneurship?
I was raised by somewhat a dysfunctional family. I was raised by a single dad. I'm both nurtured by a cultural, creative, innovative hustler. Instead of being a job hunter, I could literally do my own thing, be a job creator, but at the same time, I would earn myself the freedom to do any other thing that I want. I wouldn't be tied down. My creativity levels would be over there, but also at the same time, I would decide how much I want to earn or how much I want to be in my pocket, depending on the certain skills or certain products or services I'm giving out there.
You're creating jobs for girls, women, and the marginalized communities. You can take us through how does Green Shiro Limited create job opportunities mostly to local people?
Green Shiro is a social enterprise in Rwenzori region. We do turn waste to wealth. So we are the people who don't leave any waste behind. So we collect, sort, recycle, and we do all this work with various people, from women weavers who make our baskets and mats, to informal waste workers, the guys who come and pick your waste,
Yes.
to normal youth who are trying to make money here and there, to creatives, to, of course, local government and any other stakeholder that could be surrounded with the sector of green economy, sanitation, and making sure that the environment is protected and preserved. Green Shiro is a social enterprise that started in 2021. It was a small project where we used to plant trees in schools. We actually had an opportunity to apply for very small grants on a platform, a website. I saw something on Facebook and I was like, I could try this out, even though I don't know what it's about. So of course I do the application. It was a share yourself call for applications for young people who would like to change their communities by preserving nature. So since people who know me know that we lived near the marketplace of Kabondeire, that was our first past home before we shifted. So on a very busy market day, let's say it's a Monday or a Thursday, that's a very busy market day, farmers day, all types of market people are there. Foods, these ones who are producing fresh produce, people who are producing packaged goods are always there to make money. But then at the end of the day, when the day is closing, you have a whole pile of waste that you have to go through. And sometimes if it stays there for a very long time, the smell would be very heavy. And sometimes it would be either clogging the sewage ways also, but at the same time, making the people around there uncomfortable. So by then, I used to stay with Dad. So I had to push him around the whole garbage, trying to navigate to get to the house.
Yes.
And of course, I'd pick up waste here and there, and it was very annoying. So sometimes I'm like, Dad, why can't we leave this place? It's very dirty and filthy. And he's like, instead of running away from the problem, how about you find a solution? And I'm like, how can I find a solution? I'm still young. It's like, have you seen people on the internet younger than you, doing things that are beyond you. Were they born with blue blood? My dad would make those weird comments that would intrigue me to think beyond the box. That way, I decided to create community-based organization called Girl Potential Care Center. Now, I've seen various of my friends falling victim of transactional sex, make sure they have money to take care of their sexual reproductive health needs or health management needs. And by that time, I had a story in Bukebe. We were living in Bukebe by that time. And one of our friends or one of our community girls had an unsafe abortion because they were unwilling to share with their parents that they were sexually active, but also at the same time, they had fallen pregnant. So she was like, let me do this on my own. Let me solve this problem on my own. That way, my parents wouldn't want to find out. So that way, that's how we had, our friend had a huge complication, health complication.
Yeah.
So I shared the story with my dad. But then, so now you've talked about it. So
Yes. So how are you doing?
So what are you going to do about it?
Yes.
Secure me a passage letter so that I can teach girls self-esteem and how best they can create small things to be busy with so that you don't have to overwhelm your parents with basic needs, but also at the same time falling into temptation to provide for that specific need. That would be in a business sense. How would you plan to make money out of it? Like, oh no, I don't plan to make money, but it's more of parents allow us to convene. And then it's like, how will you convene? But I'm like, no, when you go to the local government, they will give you a specific letter to allow us to move.
Small guy.
Yeah. So my sweet dad used these connections and we got a passage. But the only condition for us to do that work was for us to register a community CBO and we just work in that specific community. So I registered the CBO at Kambote, and then we started with the Kambote community, Kabonde community, and then I would do a small fundraising. I'd do a door-to-door kind of fundraising activity, but also at the same time, they just give us 3,500 because in that period, a packet of a pad was at 3,500. So we were not asking our parents to give us 3,500, preferably $1, to buy pads, but rather to buy reusable materials so that we can train girls to make their own pad. That way, they don't have to fall victims of very many things.
Yes.
Various people, like organizations like Youth and Women Foundation, Yahweh, I loved the idea. And of course, they're like, okay, how can we support? They brought in their specific support. They gave us our first office. Our first office was not paid for, but it was given to us because it's a good idea and it was solving a community problem and also tackling the issue of transactional sex that leaves girls and women vulnerable to teenage pregnancies, early marriages, and in that period of lockdown, sometimes not even having an opportunity to go back to school. And we made sure that we had stakeholders join our cause, whether it's in kind or in cash. We wouldn't matter or we wouldn't mind. We had people who would donate boxes of soap for giving out. We had various community women who would give out their clothes, baby clothes, soap, pads, anything. So we used that to our advantage. And then, of course, lockdown was lifted at some point. And then I was like, if I go back to school, at that period of time, we had one of the lecturers was also this kind of people who supports youth idea. It's like, okay, you can still bring your programs in school. How can we support you? We have spaces here. So instead of bringing the outreach trainings, only just to do reusable pads, I decided to partner with Baylor I partnered with Yahweh, and then we built medical camps in various communities. We did a medical camp in, the first medical camp was in Kichwamba at my school. Some other medical camps, we had over 8 medical camps in that period of time in various spaces. And before that, still we had opportunities that would come up from digital platforms like Facebook. We applied for a specific opportunity. We pitched with various friends and founding members by that time. That is Swabri, Tina, Diana, Precious, Dorothy. All those were my friends who we knew each other. We knew each other's parents. So we've had already, I don't want to use the word violated, we had already exploited them. So they're already used to us. If these guys are coming, they either need 3,500 or they need a space to work in or they need, so they were always willing to support the kind of work that we do here.
What are the entrepreneurial knowledge or skills that you have so far developed in their mindset?
So Girl Potential Care Center has 3 major thematic areas. So we have sexual reproductive health and rights advocacy. And then we have social entrepreneurship, where we train young people basic financial resilience, financial management, financial literacy, how to start a business, how to pitch, how to publicly share or professionally share your idea for support. We also do various trainings. We collaborate through collaborating with other organizations like RHU, where we had an opportunity to train teenage mothers on how to make reusable pads, but also produce liquid soap. So once the training is done, so what for the young people? Then, of course, RHU provided capital for them, small capital, but also they have a way of following the specific work that you're doing. And then, of course, with various people, we had opportunities where we would do sexual reproductive health and rights advocacy through comics. And then we have to engage creative artists, cartoonists, storytellers, poets. And then if there's a good deal, we produce comic books, and then they have a certain allowance for contributing to that specific comic book, of which it will serve both the advocacy work. We trained how to produce reusable pads for bulk production for sale to various people. We train how to make both bar soap, liquid soap, and now we are setting up a center that will not only skill, but also make sure that we not only give you vocational skills, but also at the same time build your self-esteem. The reason why we call ourselves Girl Potential Care Center, it's a center that recognizes a girl's potential or girl's power, and then nurture it into something that would be both beneficial to them.
What advice would you give, or what is your take, mostly to the young people who have ideas of becoming successful as entrepreneurs, but they don't have money?
I don't want to dispute the fact that yes, you will need money to start, but sometimes as young people, we are so much in love with our ideas before we even do due diligence or before we even create a minimum viable product. Sometimes, of course, I also had the same approach to things. I would want a boom. Let's do this immediately. Let it be big. Let it shout. We all have that point in our life where we want everything to be huge. Some of us would even say, if it's not big, I'm not participating. So I would say, first of all, you would have to really research or make sure that whatever solution or idea you're bringing in a certain community actually solves a certain problem that those people or that community want to be solved. At the same time, You'd want to, of course, create enough time to make sure that you've researched very well. Most people call it market research, especially those ones who have gone through entrepreneurship training. You have to go through the whole ideation kind of process where you make a specific research to really find out this problem. Is it really a problem in my community? Do these people really want it solved? Are they willing to pay, or are they willing to exchange value for this solution I'm bringing? Also, what specific skills do I have, or what specific skills do I have in my space that I can use before I spend money? You get?
Yes.
For example, I knew my father had connections, so I could literally use that same connections to get what I want. Also, at the same time, I knew that my parents did not only make a name that benefits the family, but also would benefit me in future. At the same time, I knew that my friend probably knows the RDC who will give me a passage to do this and this. Probably I would say Mr. Papaya. Probably he has all the money in the world to at least invest in my idea. But what am I bringing to his table for him to be interested in supporting me? If I attach myself to Joseph, what value am I giving him, and what value is he giving me? If, for example, let's say if I buy the Bahara Pride pad, the reusable pad, okay, as a young woman, I'd be saving money, but also I'd be making sure that I'm reducing single-use products in the environment.
Yes.
So I'd be saving the environment, but also to be saving me money. Also, it would be saving me time. Imagine you have to make a lot of money to care for a specific bill. So you have to really structure a specific problem to see how best it really serves the community, but also if people in that specific community are willing to buy it. So I would really encourage young people, do it hard, do it scared, or do it risky, regardless.
Yes, but
Just try it out. If it fails, you wouldn't have a regretting moment where you say, I wish I did something like this. Maybe I would have made money, but you didn't give it a try. You didn't knock the door. How would anyone open if there was not any knocking? So empowerment things that not only benefits you and the other party, but also the people around you.
What steps or habits or practicals that you'd recommend someone as a beginner who is starting his journey into entrepreneurship?
I'm sharing experiences that have really worked for me positively. But I would say journaling, making sure everything is written, even if it is a very simple or ridiculous or anything that you think about in regards to entrepreneurship, ideas of development or community empowerment, write it down somewhere. At some point, really think about it and see what specific things do I need, who do I need to approach, who is in this specific same sector or same space that I can reach out either for knowledge or for connections or sometimes for collaboration. Because most of these big organizations or big businesses or even these rich guys, they want to work with young people who are literally bringing both value but also fresh ideas. They'd want to call them fresh ideas. But also one of the habits that I normally had is to write down everything that I want to do. And sometimes I'd go through it with my dad, sometimes because he was my first investor, first advisor and everything. And sometimes, of course, I would reach out to various board members or people that I admire. You know, when you have someone that you admire, I don't want to say role model because sometimes role model as a word is quite destructive or distracting. Is a way we put our role models on a pedestal and then we want to emulate their lives. But you can have someone that you would want, someone that inspires you, Let us invest resources, time fits in resources to make sure that we learn something new, but also learn how to present ourselves as people of value.
Now, looking forward, what is the future of entrepreneurs that are coming in to make difference in their lives, in their communities?
We've all been thriving on entrepreneurship. There's always an exchange or something. Someone is giving you a service, you're giving them money. Someone giving you a product, it's like but it has always been there. But these days, entrepreneurship has changed into various ways. Some people are into data, some people are into tech-based, deep tech entrepreneurship, others are into service, others are into products. You get. So preferably, I wouldn't be in a space where I know the actual economy trend of entrepreneurship, but I would want to feel like very many entrepreneurs are thriving in areas of any business that has something to do with tech or data management, or sometimes service provision. So it has to be surrounding that kind of space. You have to be giving a certain value or product that surrounds either space of service, space of product, and space of data management. That's where the whole aspect of entrepreneurship thrives.
What are those challenges that you've faced? How have you managed to overcome them?
One specific challenge that most of us young entrepreneurs face is the founder's syndrome, where I founded this thing, I should own 100% of it, I should be the center of attention, I should be able to be in every space. So you're not able to really give the best leadership or governance of your company or of your venture, because you are so in love with your idea, with you being the face of the organization or the business you've started, and you forget that you're missing specific aspects or skills that can help your business grow. That is something that I've struggled with internally. And then one of the other biggest challenge in entrepreneurship is poor financial management. Poor financial management will not only burn you as an individual, but it will burn your business as well. It will also eat on your small reputation that you built for a very long time. You would want to maybe save this to do this, save here. And before you know it, you're falling in debt because of poor financial management. Before you know it, you have compliance issues that you have to fix. Most of us like to run away from URA, you get. And in most cases, financial management is actually you mixing your personal money with your business money. Guys, that is the worst thing that you can deal with. Have separate accounts, but don't mix organization money and business money. Probably he would have noticed, or she would have noticed that probably Bridget is struggling with this kind of improper management or operation gaps because of this and this. Financial management is one of the biggest challenges young people, especially young entrepreneurs, face, because we do not know how to draw the lines. Most of us, since we are the founders of the organizations, we would still use business money to go out, especially when you get money and you get super excited. You're like, my God, I could not believe that I have this deal. Before you know it, you've fallen in bills that you cannot come back from. And then you have to probably seek out agents, desperate means of covering up.
Yes.
And then one of the biggest challenges we have, unfriendly, hostile financial institutions, because you cannot run a business with no cash flow. And sometimes these financial institutions are so hard that you can't even be saved by them, Can you imagine? I have a specific bank where I bank all my business money and my personal money at the same time. But once I have probably a contract that needs financing, they'll be like, yes, it is true. All your millions are going through our bank, but you're not eligible for this loan. Yes. Before you know it, I don't have enough resources to actually service this contract. How else can I get financial support? I will quickly run to the loan shark. They will not only fish out even the little that you have, they would want to make abnormal profits. Before you know it, you're making still bad financial decisions. So probably financial institutions out there, or probably the government. I know the government has really tried to support young people in regards to entrepreneurship. Because the more entrepreneurs we have, the more jobs we're going to be having in our community. And then another challenge probably I've dealt with is compliance. I raise my hands. Compliance is probably close to second best reason why most of us or most of the entrepreneurs out there are having the hardest time. Because before you know it, you have to register a business. For your business to really have actual partners to come and work with you, trust you, you should be registered, have a business account in that specific venture name that you're putting out there. Because let's say you are an investor, you're coming from Evergreen. Probably you want to ship a product. The first thing you'll ask is, are you registered? Do you have a certificate? Do you have the UNBS permits? Do you have this permit? Do you have a bank account in your business's name? There's no investor who will not do such documentation or due diligence. So an entrepreneur has to first invest into making sure you're compliant, but also your internal governance, internal control are clean before you even apply for a specific opportunity out there.
What mindset should a successful entrepreneur possess at an early stage?
The biggest mindset you'd have as a young entrepreneur like me is a collaborative mind. When you see someone out there, see them as your gateway to that money that you want, or see them as people that would really contribute to your bag, regardless of whether they are skilled or not skilled. For example, with Green Shiro Limited, the biggest key players of us making money are the informal waste workers. The biggest skill or the biggest assets that you can have is an open mind, but also a collaborative mindset.
People start businesses and they fail. People start ventures, innovations, and initiatives and they fail. How can failure shape an entrepreneur?
Okay, I've gone through a lot of failures, a lot of ups and downs, gone through dates and all of things. With it, experience is the best teacher. Is the hardest teacher that you can deal with. Be like you have that specific fear, especially if you have gone through something traumatic in business. You would not make the same risk, or you would not be empowered to make a higher risk. It's actually necessary because all those very successful entrepreneurs that we see out there, there's a certain person who created that bulb. According to books, they say he tried very many times until he got that specific light bulb.
He tried 1,000 times. The 1,001 is when he got it right.
Yeah.
But do you think, is there anybody who is ready to try that 1,000 times?
In our generation, I don't know. Probably, yes, there are people who are still like that. But I also feel like we have gone through a lot of exposure and training. We should know better. And actually, these days, various people are flexible enough to share their business experiences. Moving on, either YouTube, someone is sharing their business experience. Now, this will work, this won't work. Failure should not be the reason why you give up. Failure should probably be a redirection for how you reach your goal. I'm not telling people to change the goalpost. Use various ways. If you turn this way and it doesn't work, probably do this. Probably you reach out there. But also seek out advice from the team that I work with, from the board members themselves, from advisors, from friends, from various business people that I admire myself to add to you. And probably this could also be even to the people who are virtual role models or people we admire, digital role models. So hano mwenye nyenda kubanka Obama with specific traits ezo kumwegomba. First of all, he's an eloquent public speaker. Ekin sokucheg that konsanka business yange. So reach out to people who really add value to me.
Many people believe becoming an entrepreneur was meant for certain kind of people, or some believe some successful entrepreneurs were born to be successful entrepreneurs. Can anyone become a successful entrepreneur, or it's meant for certain kind of people?
You can be born into it, but you can also nurture yourself into it, or you can get nurtured into it. So I would really want to say entrepreneurship is both sides. You can be born with a grit, or you can also nurture the grit from the people surrounding you. First of all, I would love to thank the Muka podcast platform sharing the decades of yange, but also our viewers and listeners. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're subscribing or commenting, liking. Engage with the content that Muka podcast produces. But also nienda kuiducha muno ensinganto nkanye rundi ensinganto nkaitwe ongu we are the new adults. The new adults, this actually means tinokora kakilikikait kawa new dondadas or the new bagaga kwagalana. So mutashainga we kukora neitwe rundi koragana kurorangu mwa building a communities as like-minded entrepreneurs, young people, activists, change makers kurorangu itwena twayongelavo a specific body to both probably each other, but also our various innovations that we are putting out there. But also I would want to encourage most of the young entrepreneurs out there. Yes, entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey, but it's also it is also something that you have to go into with 5 heads, 5 brains, and 22 hearts. So don't be discouraged. At the same time, you are doing well. Kinkwenda kuba maramamani nanyi kuba maramamani. Tulion into birungi ebya abantu abeira rundi abantu abachula biroho abakuturora gamba omwana ogu kakuba nanyi nimpika mberi yali. So I want you to know abantu abakirobingi rundi abayuth abakirobingi abali aheru ngu you have a certain value and purpose that you're bringing to the world. Look for it and invest your time, resources in it, and also collaborate with other people. Cause bagamba kamu
Omugana.
owasiba wenka ebigoga bimara. Thank you very much. Nsigire ninyokaligiwa budget chigambo. Most people know me on my TikTok platform, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. You can always find me at my personal handles, but you can also always find our work at greenshow.com or girlpotentialcarecenter.org, and we are on all platforms apart from Snapchat. Thank you. Bye.